What up, guys? Joachim here, Justin Morgan, and in this video I want to take a moment to look at a famous quote by one of my favorite authors ever, bar none, and that is C.S. Lewis. In his book Mere Christianity, which I do recommend, a very good book, analyzes some of the apologetics of what just in general philosophically brought him to Christ. And one of the quotes that he says from the book, very commonly quoted, he says, "I didn't go to religion to make me happy. I always knew a bottle of port," as in the kind of sweet beer, porter, would do that. And he said, "If you want a religion to make you feel really comfortable, I certainly don't recommend Christianity." And this reminded me of an interaction that I had with someone. It was the wife of a clergy person a few years ago after we'd converted about 2 years at this point, and the person was speaking with my wife and I, and she said, do you like the church? It's like, do you enjoy going? And the thing that stood out to me about it was interesting was I had never thought about whether I liked it or not. It really wasn't. It really wasn't a question of whether I enjoyed going to church or whether I liked the musical styles or the liturgy. The only thing I was really concerned about was whether it was true or not. And that was what drove me. That was what made me have an interest in the Orthodox Church. It was excluding churches that I felt had no longer kept the root of apostolic faith, the actual faith that the apostles and that Christ taught. I weeded through many churches that were very close to the Orthodox Church, but were not quite what I felt was the foundational teaching of the apostles. And many churches, such as the Anglican Church, just the Anglican Church in general, high or moderately high Anglican churches. So I think for the most part, today, in C.S. Lewis's day, he discusses, he uses these terms high and low church, and he discusses the Anglican Church in this context. I think for today, or at least in C.S. Lewis's day, the church was either high, as in they had a sacramental view towards Christ, or it was kind of low church, meaning that it was very closer to what we would think of today as evangelical churches. They had abandoned the sacraments, which you read about in the New Testament, the consumption of the body and blood of Christ being the foundational reason that we gather together. The clergy, as far as like sacramental views, like the abandonment of those things, those would probably be closer to what you see as like low church. And today this kind of still exists as like evangelical Baptist kind of type churches, where, in my opinion, full-scale abandonment of traditional Christianity and embracement of modernism. Of course, there are churches that they would point to and now and say are also modernist in other ways, in New Age. Traditional Christians throughout history, at the point that like the Baptist movement, and especially evangelical, being a further development of that, the traditional Christians looked at them and said, this is modernist abandonment of Christianity. And I, as an Orthodox Christian, I would look at them and kind of say the same things, that this really is no longer part of the Christian faith. But so for me though, it's never really been a matter of that. When I attended like a high-ish Anglican church that still had an eye towards a sacramental view, and basically did like traditional English hymns and those types of things, traditional English prayers. That actually would have probably been my preference. I would have more enjoyed that, as far as like just enjoyment and that kind of thing. But that actually had nothing to do with why I became an Orthodox Christian, why I joined the Orthodox Church, or anything like that. My only care, my only concern was whether it was true and whether the sacraments, the teachings of the church were true, and that is why I chose to become an Orthodox Christian as opposed to a Catholic or Anglican or Baptist or any of the other Protestant denominations. So you guys take it easy, and I'll talk to you in a video coming soon.